What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Morgan Allena True Crime and Mystery. How's everybody doing? I hope you guys all had a wonderful Easter holiday. It is a new week, and that means another new episode of Gypsy Rose Blanchard Life After Lockup. This episode in particular was one of my favorites because it showed just a little bit of who Gypsy Blanchard actually is. Conniving, vindictive. This episode that we're going to get into today is focused around the time where Gypsy is getting her divorce from Ryan Anderson, going to the courthouse and all of that. But what Gypsy does in this episode, it just gives you a glimpse into who she really is. She is manipulative. She does not care who she hurts, and she will be the last one to get the last word no matter what it takes. I love that Lifetime showed just a little bit of who she really is in this episode, and it makes total sense why Gypsy decided not to go and live stream during this episode, because it does not show her in a very good light, because everything she's sitting there saying to the people that are interviewing her, her actions show otherwise, as always, right? There's obviously been a lot going on with Gypsy here lately. There's been some rumors about a CPS investigation, lots of stuff going on there. I made a TikTok video about that. I'll post that separately later, going into what I think about that specifically. But we're just gonna get into this episode today. So before we get into that, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, hitting the like button, and hit the subscribe button if you have not already. Or even if you have, because my channel likes to unsubscribe people for whatever reason. Nobody knows, nobody can fix it. But I appreciate all of you guys for watching me and supporting my channel. Let's get into this newest episode of Gypsy Rose Blanchard Life After Lockup. So we are on season 2, episode 7 of Gypsy Rose Blanchard Life After Lockup. This episode was titled I'll See You in Divorce Court. It's starting off with showing old TikTok videos where Ryan was essentially addressing the whole situation, where he messaged Gypsy and told her that she looked beautiful as a brunette. At this point in time, we all know Ryan is a little pathetic when it comes to this whole Gypsy Rose situation, but I don't entirely blame him. He did love her, and he did get his heart broken, and it's unfortunate that we have to watch all of this play out in real life, because it's pretty sad for Ryan Anderson. He got played for a fool.
What you got? I have to sign 2,000 copies of my book to have sent out.
So that's a lot of signatures, girl.
I feel like my story has been taken from me. I felt like having a memoir would be personal. To see it finally finished, it's really impactful. Like it's a relief. There's a lot of work trying to get these pictures.
Trust me.
All sorted out.
There are some hard parts.
Yeah, 4 is really, really hard. There's some chapters that are harder to digest.
Yeah.
One of the chapters talked about when my dad left my mom. He left my mom on his birthday and kind of just basically said I want a divorce. I related a lot to him in that moment, and that kind of brought up some feelings because I myself left Ryan on my dad's birthday. We both have that in common.
And she wants to play it off like these date coincidences of leaving Ryan the same day that her dad left her mom, which was on his birthday, is just some crazy coincidence. Same as getting pregnant and giving birth on these very specific dates. It's not just coincidence, she's making it happen. It shows you how calculated she really is. If you're actually paying attention, she does everything with intention. Killing her mother on or around the same date that her grandmother died, shooting her mother around that same time period as well. Everything has a purpose when she's doing something, and it shows you just how she is as a person. People take her as just being kind of, goofy or not the smartest, which, book smart, no, but evilly things, yeah, she's pretty good at what she does, honestly. And people do not give her enough credit for how cold and calculated she actually is.
I've read every line of this book 50 times over.
And I'm proud of you for doing that, because that takes some courage, and it's like a form of therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I think when people are going to read this, they'll have a much better understanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, trauma definitely changes a person.
Especially trauma like that.
Yeah.
trauma changes a person, yeah, no kidding. The only person or people that are traumatized is anyone that read this book. Honest to God, it was so disgusting and graphic, and not in a way of just, venting your trauma, because probably 90% of it didn't actually happen, but just over-sexualization of every other sentence. We're traumatized by that. Not you, Gypsy, because it probably didn't actually happen to you, but you had to go and traumatize all of us for no reason. This episode really does it. She sits there and says that she read this book over 50 times, which is kind of funny because she starts backtracking and saying she didn't have time to actually go over the book or read through any of the stuff, and that's why there's so many lies and inconsistencies, or at least that's what she messaged one of the creators that were calling her out on those lies and inconsistencies when they don't match up with her story. She wants to sit there and act like her story was taken from her when she was the one that went on all of those documentaries. She gave multiple different versions of her story, but yet she feels like it was taken from her. No, she forced it on us. Nobody took her story from her. She literally forced it on us, yet she's still somehow gonna play the victim in all of it. But of course, she gets to tell her version in her book, which again is inconsistent according to herself. So which is it? Did you have time to read it or did you not? I'm gonna go with option C. You just lie pathologically and you have an issue with that, and you don't like getting caught up, so you're gonna come up with any excuse that you possibly can in order to make it look like you're not lying when you are.
Checked my TikTok messages, and I seen that Ryan had messaged me.
Is this the first time that he's reached out since the DNA test results?
Yes, this is the first time he's contacting me since then, which is a little surprising. He said, "You look so good as a brunette, miss your voice." You know I do. And then he messaged me again at 8:30. "You still have my heart, still have only eyes for you, Gypsy Rose. You are really the most beautiful woman in the world. Just being honest." I mean, I think he's just like in his feelers right now. I've been there myself. I totally understand what that's like,
Ryan messaging her on TikTok and complimenting how she looks with brunette hair it's surprising to her, because she loves it when he's holding on and he can't get over her. She was waiting for him to message her. She loves it. She loves the back and forth. She loves seeing two guys fighting over her, and it's funny watching her how disappointed she is for the fact that Ryan actually may be moving on. She doesn't want to let that happen, because that means she's no longer the center of his attention. And she loves doing that. She loves holding him down, breaking him down, doing whatever she has to do, even if she's destroying him. That makes it even more fun for her.
The text, Ryan to Gypsy.
Yeah.
It's so good as a brunette. Miss your voice.
You know I do.
Yeah, well.
My first reaction was, what a douche.
There's so much stuff on the internet already. You might think some of it might be true, or hear some rumors and say, well, maybe it's not all sunshine and rainbows over there, the Blanchards, or with her and Ken, and in the back of his mind he might feel there's still a chance.
Our divorce will be final in 2 weeks, so I can imagine he's going through some emotions. I didn't respond back. I didn't block him. I just kind of left it alone. Every time that I have responded in the past, it's given him some type of hope. So I think by just not responding at all, even so much as blocking in a sense, is a response. And I don't want to give him the impression that I'm mad at him or that I hate him or anything, but I don't want to give him hope either.
And Christy is sitting there showing Rod the message back and forth or whatever, and I don't understand why she referred to Ryan Anderson as a douche. What does that even mean? How is he a douchebag for messaging Gypsy? He's essentially doing the same thing that she helped Ken with. She was fine and okay with Ken messaging Gypsy whenever Gypsy was married to Ryan, but when Ryan does it, oh, he's a douchebag now? Is it just because there's a child involved, but marriage doesn't matter? Sometimes I wonder if Christy felt like she had to find a way to get Ken and Gypsy back together, because if you've ever read the emails and stuff that Gypsy has sent while she's in prison, there came a point in time whenever Gypsy said she was no longer speaking to her stepmother, Christy, and I think a lot of it had to do with, things were getting leaked and information was getting out about Gypsy and Ken's relationship. So I wonder if Christy was like in fear for her life with Gypsy living there, and she felt like she had to make sure that Gypsy got back with Ken or her life was going to be in danger or something, because we all know Gypsy likes to hold a grudge. She does not get over things, and I don't believe that Christy feels 100% comfortable with Gypsy. I don't. I've seen photos of Christy's room or in the living room, and there are cameras inside that house, and I don't think it's just for security purposes. I think it's because she's actually afraid of Gypsy. Seriously.
This was Ada. There's a reason I'm sharing these messages, and I just want to make it very clear that it's not to hurt Ryan in any way.
I posted it myself that he would have received a message that I'm trying to hurt him, and that's not what I was trying to do.
What's the message?
The message is that I in no way want to prevent the healing process, but I do not want to be with him either. And that's definite.
So Gypsy will sit there and say that she had to have Bree release those private messages between Ryan and Gypsy, which we're all smart enough to realize more than likely Gypsy has deleted some back and forth messages, and she's only showing one from TikTok and not from her private text messages. But regardless, Gypsy says she couldn't do it, so she has to have freaking Bree do it for her. It's literally Nick 2.0 when it comes to Bree with the facts in Gypsy's relationship. Bree cares so much more for Gypsy than what Gypsy does for Bree, and it's unbelievably clear to everybody that is watching Bree and Gypsy interact. Gypsy does not care about Bree. She only cares about what she can do for Gypsy. And I don't even think Bree has any sort of realization that she literally is becoming just what Nick was to Gypsy. It's not anything about, oh, I didn't want to give him hope or anything like that. No, it's about destroying Ryan's self-esteem, destroying his self-worth, and Gypsy getting the last laugh, because that's all she cares about. She gets joy from causing and inflicting pain on other people. Same wording, same manipulation tactics as what she's using with Bree versus what she did with Nick. Same thing. I can't kill my mother. I couldn't do it. I can't kill anyone. I can't release those messages, but Bree can. She's making sure her hands are clean and others are getting their hands dirty doing her dirty work. And she still hasn't apparently learned the lesson that she's still responsible for it, even if she's having somebody else do it.
Commenting on all the comments like, you should block Ryan like she did.
I did. Everybody's like, oh, here she is playing tit for tat. And I was like, he messaged me. You know, he's the one that did a live still talking about me. I put my boundaries and he stepped over them, and that's where I'm at with it. I don't want him to hate me. I don't want him to be mad at me. I don't want him to be mad at you for sharing those screenshots. I want him to get the point of why. Yes, we're exes.
Sometime before the divorce, maybe you can reach out to him and just really be like, look, I want to have a serious conversation.
And maybe have to be after the divorce, because I think anything before, you know, I think there's just like little sliver of hope that he continues to have. So
true, yeah.
Maybe after it's final and then like it's done with. So
will y'all see each other that day?
We will. Yeah, he'll be at court.
Even after, I mean, maybe y'all can have a moment to yourselves that y'all, after everything's finalized, so it's like no more hope that it's final.
Gypsy's so back and forth. She blocked him, then she unblocked him, then she blocked him, then she unblocked him, then she blocked him again, then she unblocked him, but then blocking him again would give him a message. It's very clear that you are trying to give him a message, because if you're blocking somebody, what is the point in unblocking them? She wants to make sure that he is, anytime he's getting a little bit further away or getting over her, she's got to reel him right back in and make her the center of his attention again. She cannot let him go, because that would destroy her fun. It has nothing to do with caring about him or missing him whatsoever. She treated him like dirt, literal garbage, and she's literally like a predator just playing with their food. Honestly, that is what she does to Ryan Anderson. All of this just really shows you how narcissistic Gypsy Rose really is. She's 100% certain that Ryan Anderson is not going to miss his opportunity to see her at court. Well, obviously she's in for a rude awakening, but she values and sees herself so high above everybody else And she just does not care about him. She didn't care about making him mad or making him hate her whenever she was trying to tell people and tell sources that he was abusive and she was scared he was going to hit her, right? Where was the care then? She wants to make sure that she sees him after the divorce so that way, you know, it's not really over and he still keeps holding on to her so she has some entertainment in her life. That's all it is. It's not about, oh, I want him to be happy and to move on, because every time he tries to move on, here you come crawling back, sneaking right back in. It's the same thing. Why are you allowed to run him down online and on TikTok in the comments, just like she did the other day about when she posted that Make-A-Wish photo where she's showing her donation. In the comments, she has to say Ryan wasn't happy about it. He didn't want me to donate to the Make-A-Wish children, trying to villainize him at every single opportunity she gets. But all he does is mention, like, I don't know if I'm the dad. Oh, hold on, stop the train. He said he doesn't know. Like, that's not even, comparatively speaking, he has been so gentle with Gypsy Rose. It's not even funny. I think he could literally obliterate her if he wanted to, but he doesn't. He doesn't try to do that.
Going through this process of a divorce, it's really emotional. There's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days. He was my best friend for 3 years, and, you know, now we have nothing. I personally wouldn't be against sitting down with Ryan and having a civil conversation.
Well, you know, I always got your back, girl.
I know, thank you.
Love you, girl. Bye.
According to Gypsy, just within a few episodes ago, she considered Ryan Anderson just one of the public. Even though she was releasing those paternity test results and all of that because she wanted to get a message to Ryan, she only considers him one of the public. So why do you care if you're giving him any sort of false hope or anything like that? Why are you caring if he's just a random public person? She can't even make up her mind on what she's saying because it's not true. None of it is true. She just enjoys the game.
Started taking a different route and asking for advice. Well, it was extremely important for me to get everybody's opinion about if I should meet up with Ryan after the divorce and have a civil conversation face to face. Dad, meet with Ryan, don't meet with Ryan. Mia says she doesn't think it's a good idea. Mom doesn't have an opinion, for real. A part of me is like, I feel like I owe him that. I have apologized on the phone. But since then, that was back in July. Right before court, what I don't want is for him to hold this heartbreak that there was no closure. Because when Ken left me, I didn't have closure. Right. And that stuck with me for 5 years.
Gypsy really wants to sit there and act like she's, doing all of this with the best of intentions. She's going and asking what people think about it. Gypsy literally doesn't care what kind of advice she is given on whether or not she should or shouldn't do something. She's gonna do what she wants to do regardless of what you tell her or any kind of advice that you give her. She's literally looking for all of them to just agree with what she's already planning to do because she's gonna do it regardless. She does not listen to advice. She does not care about other people's opinions. So all of this is literally just her going out of her way to get people to agree with her. And whether they do or not, she's gonna twist it and manipulate it to be like, no, he definitely needs it. I mean, I don't need that. She's just looking for people to agree with her. That's pretty much it. I would imagine if they were in her life, that's all they can do. And they know that by now, that there's no point in even giving her any sort of actual legitimate advice. So similar to how Brie will pretty much agree with whatever Gypsy Rose says or whatever she wants to do, that's probably their best bet because at least that way you can't be like, why didn't you listen to me or even care? Because she's not going to care enough to take your words to heart or really think about it because she's just going to do what she wants to do because that's who she is.
We have to worry about, we can move forward with our lives. I feel like I've said this exact same sentence 1,000 times over.
What's your comfortability level with, me sitting down with him and just having a closure conversation?
I don't know. Maybe it's not a great idea.
I think by having a one and done conversation, and that way we could both move on with our lives.
No matter how I feel about it, Ryan was a huge part of your life for many years. So if you think it's what's best for both of you. I mean, I know that you haven't had this conversation in person per se, but I feel like you've had these conversations already over the phone.
I have.
So it's not like words are being said that haven't already been said. That's why I feel like sometimes it's just not been necessary. You've already had these closure conversations, and in a lot of ways, it could be a racing process.
Honestly, I think had the cameras not been here in this moment, when she's discussing it with Ken, the whole conversation would have went totally different. But since the cameras are there, he gets up and walks away because he does not want to continue to have this conversation. Because I imagine they've probably had it multiple times by the way he's speaking. He even sits there and says, you've had multiple closure conversations. How many more closure conversations do you really need to have? You've got your point across that you want to be with me, unless that's not what you really want. His body language is saying like, no. But she doesn't care. She's going to keep pressing him and pressing him and pressing him until he just concedes and is like, whatever, do whatever you feel you need to do. It doesn't matter, and he knows that. It doesn't matter what he expresses or how he actually feels being her partner, because Gypsy can't actually take into account how other people feel. Like, she literally can't. So it doesn't matter. She's gonna do what she wants to do, and she has to make sure that she destroys Ryan Anderson.
And so you think that this conversation is going to put a close to all that?
For me, I could walk away with a fresh start for you and I.
Okay.
So I DM'd Ryan, asking him if he would be open to meeting up with me. I said, hello Ryan, I was wondering if after court on Monday, would you be open to having a sit down face-to-face with me? There's some things that I would like to say in person. We can go to a coffee shop or something away from the chaos. I assure you my intentions are honorable. I have had many months to reflect on the way things happened, and I would understand it if you would say no, but I wanted to make the first move towards true healing. And so far he hasn't responded. But
Can you tell if he's read it?
I can't tell. The ball's in his court now.
Gypsy DMs Ryan Anderson as she's telling the producer, whoever's there with her from Lifetime, and you can just see the devastation on her face with the fact that Ryan Anderson did not immediately answer her or respond to her message. You can see it's bothering her. She seems upset because she's losing her grip on him, and she can't have that. That can't be happening with Gypsy Rose. You cannot get out of her grasp unless she wants you gone. But even if she wants you gone, she's still going to make sure to have some sort of hold or control over your life, because that is who she is. You can just see it all over her face, and even in the rest of the episode, it bothers her so bad that Ryan Anderson didn't run back to her like a little puppy dog like she wants. And that's that narcissistic side of her, thinking that everybody should be wanting to talk to me at all times. Why are you ignoring me? I ignore you. We're not supposed to be switching positions here.
Alright, well, I like to get super festive. Christmas is my favorite holiday, so we're gonna go crazy with it. It's Christmas time! It's Christmas time! It's Christmas time!
I feel the same way about, how I feel about flowers.
What does that even mean? We're gonna get a cheap treat? No.
Yes, under $20.
That doesn't exist. Okay, so let me just tell you right now, like minimum like $100. So.
How are we gonna get this thing back?
So then it shows them picking out a real Christmas tree. Her and Ken are together, and he is talking about the price, and she seems, put off by the fact that a Christmas tree would cost $100, as if she doesn't casually drop thousands and thousands of dollars on a random daily basis. Like, what was it, just the other day she spent $1,000 on jeans? But oh God forbid a Christmas tree, right? She's just in a hateful mood because Ryan Anderson did not respond to her. That's all she can think about. That's all she's concerned about, is the fact that Ryan did not immediately come running back to her. She could care less about Christmas, less about Ken or anything that's going on right then, because the person she wants control over is slipping away.
Response from Ryan. I'm nervous. I just don't know what to expect.
Overwhelming options.
I think that an apology is owed to him, because at the end of the day, I was his wife, and I wasn't a good wife to him.
Gypsy.
What?
This is the perfect treat.
Which one?
This one right here. This is it. This is the holy grail. Look at it. It's like the perfect height. It's got that depth. Smell it.
Seems a little fat bottom, doesn't it?
It's supposed to be.
I feel like it could help me, honestly, just live with myself. I've made a lot of mistakes through my life. I have a lot of regrets, and if I could amend one, I'm gonna choose to do that.
She literally already said she apologized multiple times. She said in the past she doesn't care about Ryan Anderson. She said, F it, she's living her best life. She's gonna get happy any way she can. It doesn't matter. She's in her reputation era, like it showed in the unedited or unseen footage episode that they showed on Lifetime. She doesn't care about an apology. That could not be more clear. But I find it funny how she's like, it might help me live with myself, as if she's just totally devastated and struggling to live with herself, knowing what she did to Ryan Anderson, yet still simultaneously taking shots at him and humiliating him and running him down into the dirt every single chance that she gets. It's kind of funny. But, I'm kind of here for it. I'm glad she's suffering and feeling the way that she is, because Ryan's not immediately running back to her. At least he's getting somewhat stronger in this period. I don't know where they're at right now, because he's kind of, faded back a little bit since the divorce and everything, but good for him. He's really showing her what it feels like, and that's what needs to happen. She needs to understand these things, but of course she's not going to actually learn a lesson over any of it. But it's good to see her kind of get a taste of her own medicine.
When did you reach out? So it was like a normal day, but you're thinking about her?
It was a normal day. It was like a Tuesday night, and I saw a picture of her from her baby shower, and she had brunette hair. Had a lonely moment, and I decided to reach out. And I was just like, I love you as a brunette. You look so great. Something simple like that. Maybe she'll reach out, maybe she won't. It wasn't anything I was hoping for. It was just kind of like, letting you know you look great. 2 days later, somebody told me that, oh, Gypsy's making you look like a fool. Bree, your friend, posted the messages that you sent her. It's not even that I hate that it got out there, it was just what was the point? What were they trying to accomplish by releasing it? Were they trying to make me look foolish? Overall, it didn't embarrass me. It just was kind of like, okay, I know not to send you anything sweet anymore if that's what you're gonna do.
Ryan's messages to Gypsy were released, and he's wondering, what were they trying to accomplish? Ryan Anderson, I will tell you, they are trying to humiliate you. She is trying to destroy you and break you down, because that makes her happy. That makes her feel good inside to see other people suffer at her doing. She is not a good person, but Ryan Anderson is probably a better person than a lot of us are, just by the way he reacts. He doesn't get angry. He doesn't retaliate like she does. He just says, I won't say anything sweet to you anymore. So, I guess he's mature, so I'll give him that.
She actually reached out to me on Wednesday night. I didn't want to read it because it was still hurt over her releasing those text messages, the last ones I sent. Thursday morning, I have a text from her, a text from her phone. And then she calls me right on top of it. It's like 7:30 in the morning, I'm getting ready to go to school. I don't realize it's her at first because she must have changed her number. And then she continues to call me throughout the day. Finally, she texts my mother, and then my mother tells me what she texted. And I read one where it said, I would love to have a one-on-one with you on the day of our divorce after court. Okay, you've had all this time to meet with me. You've had all this. Why would I give her that day?
If anything shows you how obsessive Gypsy is about the fact that he did not respond to her immediately Wednesday, then she texts Thursday, then she's calling starting at 7:30 in the morning, probably because she knows he's going to be up at that time, calls him all throughout the day, and then he says he doesn't recognize the number. Wonder if she's using a texting app. I've made a TikTok about that in the past where I'm pretty positive she's confirmed, slipping up the fact that she uses texting apps, but that's another story for another time. But she's calling him all day. On Thursday, she's calling his mother. She's messaging his mother, all because he didn't respond to her Wednesday. She went off the handle. She can't handle the fact that he may be moving on from her. Gypsy was supposed to be the love of his life. She thrives on it. She loves it. The attention, the thought of somebody, being willing to do whatever it takes for her, whatever they have to do. Same with Nick. She consumes it almost. It's gives her some sort of power. I don't know, but she couldn't take it. He ignored her, and she clearly was not handling it very well, blowing him up. So who really has trouble moving on? Is it Ryan Anderson or is it Gypsy? I've said it all along, Gypsy will not let Ryan Anderson move on. Even just a couple weeks ago, Ryan Anderson said that Gypsy messaged him at 2 o'clock in the morning asking if he is in a relationship or talking with a TikToker named Amber J, who makes, you know, funny videos about this Gypsy situation or whatever. 2 in the morning, she's reaching out to him, but she's worried about Ken being on his phone late at night because she's doing the same thing. The same thing that she did to Ryan with Ken, she's doing to Ken with Ryan. Because it's fun.
Still no word from Ryan.
No word from Ryan. Which, I mean, I don't know how to take that. I don't know whether or not to feel peace with it or to feel like there's still something that should be said. I truly feel like it would have brought him some comfort to just have a face-to-face. So.
And you too, right? You feel like there's something you would have gotten out of it
yeah.
to help you move on?
Exactly. I would have had a chance to give him like a proper apology, so.
It's a big day for her. It's a milestone to get past this with Ryan and move on. One less thing she has to worry about now. She's got to worry about, you know, a baby coming and this and that. So she's it's good. We're happy.
She's always like, oh, it would bring him peace. It would bring him closure. They have to force it out of her to say, like, maybe for you too. Yeah, maybe. Please, it's not. She doesn't want this to end. She would. I bet if she had her way, it would never end. She would be going bing, 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 back and forth between the both of them, and probably add in a third dude just for fun. Honestly, like it's just ridiculous. And I mean that so sincerely. Like, this is who she is. This isn't like a phase or anything like that. This is like her makeup as a human being. So now we're getting into the whole divorce moment where they're gonna head to court. I like how Rod said that this divorce is like a milestone moment for her, like as if it's your baby taking their first steps or like a graduation or something. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't consider a divorce a milestone to hit. I think a milestone is something that, you know, everyone or mostly everybody hits, and that's why they're called milestones. Not everybody gets divorced or, you know, does what Gypsy does or what Rod does. Some people do value a marriage and thinks it's more than a piece of paper. You know, obviously Rod has made it very clear that marriage means nothing to him, but I just found it kind of funny how he said it's a milestone moment. That's like a pretty weird thing to say.
Getting divorced is a lot of emotions, and you know, sometimes I do think back to when Ryan and I were married. I do miss him sometimes. I do like miss that, you know, humor that he had that kept me smiling. How many minutes out are we?
30. 35.
I've learned a lot going through these last couple of years. Looking at things from a hindsight perspective, it looks like I had just basically said, well, F you, I don't love you, and I'm gonna go get happy. You know, we had an apartment together, we had a dog together, we had a life together.
You know, the only reason Gypsy asked how far out they were was probably so she could text the paparazzi and let them know where she was at and when she would be there, so that way they could be there to take pictures of her and she could be like, stop it, let her have her day, blah, 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 like they do later on in the episode. And we saw this play out, like, obviously on TikTok and stuff, but I guarantee you that's who she's texting and saying, oh, we're 30 minutes out, make sure to be there and in your position so you can, you know, take my picture, right? Because we all know she literally tips him off herself. She talks to the magazines and all these places herself and gives them all the details.
Come on, guys, let her have her dance. Stop. Just a couple of pictures. Y'all got a couple. I had a feeling somebody was going to be there to take pictures. It is public record. Once it's put out there, it's public. He was just right up in our face. You know, she's pregnant. I said, she don't need all of this stress.
Nothing new, even though she wants to pretend that they just like found her. Oh, it's public knowledge, whatever. No, you literally call him and you literally do this. Be for real, like, let's just be honest.
Yeah, I was surprised that Ryan didn't want to meet with Gypsy. I really was surprised. I thought for sure he was going to do it. I mean, only thing I wanted to tell him if he would have been there, and it's nothing rude or ugly, but it's like, if you have something to say, you're not blocked on my phone. Call me. You don't need to talk about it on TikTok.
Gypsy was totally surprised the fact that Ryan Anderson did not show up for court, and good for him. He is getting the last laugh. I hope he continues to do that, because that's what she deserves for the way that she's treated him. Honestly, she's shocked that he wouldn't, see her one last time. It's almost like she can't even comprehend how he could make this choice. Because not everybody is obsessed with you, Gypsy, in the way that you think they are. And you can screw people over so many times before they're done. Now, you may find people like Nick who don't totally understand things, but a lot of the time you're going to reach the point where people are going to be done with you and they're not going to play your games. There's no guilt from Gypsy whatsoever for being a bad wife, because Gypsy literally cannot feel guilt whatsoever. She cannot feel remorse. She cannot feel empathy. She does not care how other people feel or how her actions may affect others. She couldn't care because she can't care. And that's the truth of the matter. The only thing that Gypsy is able to actually feel is probably rage, spitefulness, revenge. Even Ken himself said it when he said Gypsy retaliates, and that's exactly what Gypsy does.
Oh.
What?
It said Gypsy Rose Blanchard says she didn't enjoy sex with Ryan Anderson despite once saying that he is fire.
You didn't though, Gypsy.
But I didn't expect her to put that in the article.
So come on.
What happened. So I was interviewing for the book. In the book, there is a lot of talk about, sexual abuse. She's like, as a woman, have you gotten past that trauma? And that's whenever I went in to explain, there was a lot of mental roadblocks that I had to, get past. I'm like, just because I came out and I consummated my marriage does not mean that I was over those mental blocks. I'm like, so I really just didn't enjoy sex at that time.
And here is where the real Gypsy is revealed. Oh, an article comes out where Gypsy's saying that Ryan sucks in bed. Nothing to do with what she's trying to sit there and say, oh, they took it out of context. I didn't mean it that way. I was talking about my trauma. No, you can see it all over her face. She's happy. She thinks it's funny. She's trying not to laugh because she's done it again. She's hurt him again, and she knows that she did that. It wasn't an accident, and it's very clear, especially when Ryan starts talking about it.
An article had came out, and I sent it to you, but it was talking about how I didn't enjoy sex with Ryan, and I was like, that is so out of context. It was an interview about the book. I mean, at first I was just embarrassed, but then I started to think more about it, and then I'm like, this came out on the day of the divorce. This is hitting below the belt, which that was not my intention.
I know.
And the way it looks like is if I was just fucking Ryan, and I wasn't.
Saying that Gypsy isn't out there trash talking her ex-husband. That's not in her character at all. She deals with this a lot. A lot of things that she does that have no ill intent. They get twisted and warped to make her out to be this villain that she's not. And I can only imagine that stress that she deals with. I see it, and it hurts me too. And because I hate to see her feel that way. So all that I can do is just, try and get her through it and try and remind her that you're not what they're making you out to be.
Ken has to just be totally clueless to really sit there and believe that Gypsy did not purposely mean for this to happen. There is just no way that he can still feel like people are just trying to villainize Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She literally does it herself. No one has to do any of this for her. She does it herself. She meant to hurt him. And the fact that Ken wants to be blind to that is just, honestly, it's pathetic. Wake up, open your eyes, see who you're really with, because now she's the mother of your child. Seriously. Oh yeah, everybody just wants to make Gypsy look bad. No, Gypsy does that all on her own because she likes to hurt people.
The divorce I was going to deal with my own stuff that day. My own feelings, my own regret, my own closure as far as our marriage, and I didn't have to show up for court. I was thinking she's going to wipe her hands with me after meeting me. So I did not want to see her at that moment. So that night, I have a lot of emotions going on. I know the divorce is final. I know, all this. And I see the magazine article and people talking about it. And in the magazine article, she is burying me. Saying sex was not good with me. Ken fills all those voids that Ryan couldn't sexually. I wasn't physically attractive. All this BS. Okay? And I know Gypsy enough to know that it's BS. But she still said it. And she said those things to hurt me. And she told me in one of those texts on Thursday, like when I wasn't answering her, she said, just so you know, I've said some bad things about you, and it's going to come out, and I was livid over your paternity test video. So I just want to let you know, like, I apologize in advance. It's another betrayal. It's another to hell with Ryan.
So Ryan is literally sitting there saying he knows that what Gypsy is doing is just BS. He probably doesn't believe it, but he has to know that she is literally doing it to hurt him. And she gave him a warning, heads up. I told a reporter a whole bunch of crap about you that's gonna make you mad, you know, just because I was mad about the paternity test video. What did he even say in there that was so bad that would make her go say something like that to a reporter? Literally nothing. It's the fact that he didn't show up to court. He didn't come running back to her the second that she messaged him. He ignored her, and so she's gonna try to give a devastating blow to him. Because that's who she is. She is an evil person, seriously. She is not any different than what she was 10 years ago whenever she was getting Nick to go into her mother's bedroom and end her mother's life. Just waiting for the moment for somebody to piss her off just enough to where she calls it, takes it to the ultimate level. It's evil, vindictive behavior that Gypsy has shown over and over and over again. She wants to always get that last laugh and deliver that devastating blow, and she will never ever stop. She will never ever change, because this is like, it's in her DNA now, this person that she is. Truly, I mean it when I say she is a sociopathic individual. She is not a safe person to be around. This was not a situation where she had to survive her mother and it was, you know, kill or be killed like she wants to say. No, this was a game. All of it has always been a game to her, controlling and manipulation. And, you know, it's not even like she has anywhere to like elevate to, because she's already committed the crime of murdering her own mother. I don't know how anybody feels safe in the vicinity of her. She is a dangerous person and she cannot change. They need to wake up and open their eyes, or who knows what will happen to any one of them. And pretending and playing like you just think that she's, you know, being villainized or whatever is not going to help your case when it comes to whoever's next. Whether that be Mia, Christy, Rod, Ken. Gypsy is who Gypsy is. That retaliation, if you hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you way worse. I'm gonna do the most and put the most effort that I can possibly into destroying you as a person. That is who Gypsy is. She has not reformed whatsoever. She demonstrates the same behaviors, the same thought processes and patterns of behavior. It's all the same. It has never changed. That's why her little 8 years in prison that she done, it's useless, because she cannot be reformed. She is one of those people that should not get a second chance because she's dangerous. She is a dangerous person to anyone around her, especially her child. God forbid her child ever grow up and make her angry. Seriously, I do fear for her kid with having a parent like Gypsy Rose. Like, if we look back on what Gypsy said about being with Ryan and being intimate with him in her little interview that she did on the Vile Files, it's completely different than the story and the narrative that she pushes these days and in subsequent footage, especially that unaired footage on Lifetime. I'm going to play both of them for you so you can see the difference and how she twists the narrative depending on the situation that she's in, because it's all about causing chaos and causing pain to those that are around her.
Abused. With Ryan, he didn't say, oh, we have to have sex the first night. It was like, if you want to, let it happen naturally. Because I was like trying to plan everything, and I was so nervous. I'm like, what happens if he doesn't like the way I look? Or, you know, I'm nervous about just being naked too, because I have scars on my body. So in prison, it's not like he got to see me before he married me. So, you know, they say, you know, you got to drink the milk before you buy the cow. And that didn't happen for us. So I was extremely nervous. But then, like, within like 10 minutes, I was like, okay, this is happening. And I felt totally comfortable and totally safe.
It's making it really hard. Most people, whenever they're like, okay, I want a divorce. Okay, you're not happy? Okay, let's get a divorce.
But,
you know,
you told him point blank at one point you were not sexually attracted to him, and then but that came.
I mean, we consummated our marriage and everything, you know.
Point. But even when you told him, I'm not sexually attracted to you, I think of you like
a cuddle buddy,
and he still
married me anyway.
No, if I would have told that to your dad, that would have been later.
I think a lot of people would be.
I mean, it is what it is.
He thinks he has grounds for adultery. I said, Ryan, you'd have to catch me in the act having sex with Ken or another man.
Right.
I said, if you want to get educated on what adultery is, get a lawyer, because I'm like, you can't get me on adultery for feelings. Feelings doesn't hold up in court.
Right.
And so I kind of just didn't really know what to do or what to say or even how to move around the room. With Ryan, I never felt uncomfortable around him. However, I did kind of feel like there was a moment that I was like, I just want to be. Physical affection was not the first thing on my mind. It was kind of like, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I really just want to sleep in a normal bed and not be touched. I probably would have just sat him down and explained, like, this is a lot to process. You know, would you mind if we kind of postponed any sort of physical intimacy until I'm ready?
The fact of the matter is she never loved him. She doesn't know how to love, and she cannot love anybody. Genuinely, she cannot. So anyone that's around her, they just might as well consider themselves like a potential victim. But that was pretty much the entirety of the episode. Is showing a preview of her book signing, which obviously that's going to be made to make her look like a pitiful victim. We already can see that, and they're setting up the whole thing with the flowers from the funeral home being delivered, which that's already, I think, been debunked, showing that they literally ordered it. I don't know, I'll have to go back and find some information on that, but that was pretty much it. Let me know what you guys thought about this. Are you actually surprised that Gypsy was pretty much shown to be a little bit of who she actually is in this episode? I think this is the best episode so far as like showing Gypsy as the like evil, vindictive person that she actually is. Let me know what your thoughts are about this episode down below in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button. I appreciate all of you guys for watching me and supporting my channel. I'll be coming out later on this week with another video going through comparing her other documentaries and stuff like that, and going over some crime scene photos and some weird things that I've noticed recently. So keep an eye out for that, but I will see you guys next time. Bye.